Today I am going to show you an action and thriller movie titled American Assassin. There will be spoilers ahead. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. The movie begins with a man named Mitch Rapp and his girlfriend Katrina on vacation in Ibiza, Spain. Having been in a relationship with Katrina for a while, Rapp proposes to her with his mother's ring, which he put on a necklace. They are both delighted and having a great time, while Rapp records their time together. He decides to get them both drinks to continue their celebration. Suddenly, a group of armed terrorists start shooting indiscriminately at everyone at the beach. Rapp tries to get to Katrina, but he is injured and she is killed. 18 months later, Rapp leaves a solitary life and has an unwavering desire for revenge. He trains intensely in martial arts and becomes an expert marksman. Rapp also finds information about the terrorist group responsible for the death of his fiancée and attempts to get in touch with them. He plans to infiltrate the group to avenge Katrina. Eventually, Rapp is able to establish contact with the leader of the terrorist group named Adnan. He tries to convince Adnan about his hatred of the United States and his desire to join their group. Rapp trains constantly but has a difficult time controlling his anger. He nearly kills his sparring partner and is sent out of the gym. Unbeknownst to Rapp, he was being monitored by the CIA. The CIA were keenly interested in Adnan and his terrorist organization, and when Rapp made contact with Adnan, he got on their radar. After that, Rapp reconnects with Adnan. Adnan asks him a series of questions to ascertain his sincerity. After managing to convince Adnan, Rapp is invited to Libya to meet him in person. Rapp is searched and brought to meet Adnan. Just as Rapp is finally about to take revenge for the death of his fiancée, the location is ambushed by a group of American Special Forces and Adnan is killed. Rapp is furious because he didn't get to kill Adnan with his own hands and proceeds to repeatedly stab him. He is apprehended and taken to a CIA facility. Rapp was interrogated thoroughly for his extreme actions that led to him meeting Adnan, an extremely dangerous terrorist without any proper plan or preparation. When the CIA were considering punishing Rapp for his reckless actions, he defends himself saying he prepared well enough and would have done anything to get his revenge. He also tells them that he was able to get into the terrorists' headquarters and meet their leader, which was more than what any CIA agent had accomplished. The CIA deputy director named Irene Kennedy meets with Rapp. She offers him an opportunity to be part of the Black Ops unit codenamed Orion. Irene takes Rapp to meet the head of Orion named Hurley, an ex-Navy SEAL who will train Rapp and other recruits in guerrilla warfare. Hurley tells Rapp that his achievements in infiltrating Adnan's terrorist group would not be enough to guarantee him a place as a member of Orion. Rapp counters Hurley by challenging him to train him and judge for himself if he deserves to be on his team. Hurley gathered the team and instructs them on the correct mentality and fighting styles to carry out a successful mission. Rapp is asked by Hurley to fight another recruit named Victor, which Rapp is able to defeat. Hurley made sure to teach the recruits about being alert and vigilant at all times. Most of all, he stressed the importance of controlling your emotions, which Rapp struggles with. The recruits are told to virtually eliminate specific targets and would receive electric shocks if they kill the wrong target. During the exercise, Hurley introduces Adnan's image into the program. When Rapp sees Adnan's image, he goes crazy and keeps shooting regardless of the fact that Adnan was not his target. When other recruits succumbed to the pain of the electric shocks, Rapp continued firing at Adnan's image and ignored the pain he received from the electric shocks. At the viewing room, Irene and Hurley watched Rapp, both disappointed and equally impressed. In the next scene, Irene and other important US officials visit the Iranian embassy in London. They inquire about the 15-kilo weapons-grade plutonium material stolen from a decommissioned Russian nuclear facility. The Americans suspect Iranian hardliners who are unhappy with its government's nuclear deal with the United States. The Iranian minister Behruz denies his government's involvement with both the theft and trade of the nuclear materials. Meanwhile, in Warsaw, Poland, a group of men were about to sell the stolen plutonium to a man nicknamed Ghost. Because the van they were in looked suspicious, some police officers showed up to question them. The cops insisted on checking the van, which makes Ghost shoot both the police officers and the Russians and flees with the nuclear material. Hurley watches the news and sees a report about the incident in Poland, which was caught on a surveillance camera. Hurley immediately recognizes Ghost, who was a former Navy SEAL and member of Orion and was thought to have been killed in action years ago. Knowing that his former protege is involved in the stolen nuclear material, he meets Irene and she tells him to take his team to Istanbul. His mission was to stop the purchase of the triggering mechanism for the nuclear device between Ghost and an Iranian arms dealer named Sharif. Hurley takes Rapp and Victor to Istanbul. They were met by an agent named Annika, who would be assisting them in their mission. When Rapp and Annika were surveilling Sharif and his assistant named Camille, Rapp suddenly walks towards Camille. He bumps into him and steals his phone. Later on, Hurley and his team devise a plan to stop Ghost from carrying out the trade. Hurley takes out the military officer guarding Sharif, while Rapp and Victor go into the bar and eventually find Ghost. However, Ghost easily makes Victor and proceeds to kill him. Ghost and Sharif escape. Hurley declares their mission a failure and orders Rapp to return with him. Rapp ignored his order though and goes after Sharif. When he lost track of Sharif, Rapp gets to his assistant Camille and threatened him to tell him where to find Sharif. Camille takes Rapp to Sharif's apartment and he infiltrates the apartment, takes out Sharif's men and shoots Sharif. He also takes Sharif's laptop. Even though Rapp was able to kill Sharif, which was one of their objectives, Hurley was still furious with him because he disobeyed a direct order and acted rashly. Rapp was unrepentant though. Shortly after, Irene arrived at their location and ordered them to complete the mission because Ghost now has almost all he would need to weaponize the plutonium. The only thing that he requires is a skilled physicist who would assemble the bomb. The team track a payment to Rome which leads them to the physicist. Rapp also finds out that Annika is an Iranian foreign agent. She tells him that she is working against the hardliners in the Iranian government who are trying to acquire nuclear materials. Meanwhile, Ghost and Minister Beherz were having a meeting. It turns out that Minister Beherz and Ghost have been working together to make nuclear weapons with the intent of attacking the United States. In the next scene, Hurley meets with an old friend, an Iranian official named Ashani. Ashani informs him about Minister Beherz's involvement in the plot to attack America. Before Ashani can say more, he is shot by Ghost and dies instantly. Hurley is captured by Ghost. Ghost intends to torture Hurley into giving up the location of his CIA team. Ghost reveals that he is doing all of this to get revenge. He felt hurt that he was abandoned to be tortured during his last mission as an Orion agent. He also says he loves the money he now makes as a terrorist. Hurley is furious that his former protege didn't care about the damage and loss of life he was about to cause. Meanwhile, Rapp is surprised to hear that Hurley has been captured by Ghost. Irene orders Rapp to go back to the United States as his mission has been cancelled. However, Rapp doesn't listen and frees Annika, who is being watched by 2 CIA agents. After finding Annika, they locate the underground base Ghost was using at the time. Ghost continued to torture Hurley by pulling out his nails and demanding to know the whereabouts of his team members. Hurley endured and said nothing. When Minister Beherz demands that Ghost concludes the interrogation immediately, Ghost kills him and his guards. Annika and Rapp split up, and she goes into the facility, while Rapp kills off the guards outside. Rapp finds Hurley, who is seriously injured. Hurley tells Rapp to leave him and go after Ghost and stop him from detonating the nuclear bomb. Unfortunately, Annika is captured by Ghost and used as a hostage. She sacrifices herself to give Rapp a chance to kill Ghost. However, Ghost manages to escape and boards a boat with the nuclear bomb. Hurley was able to figure out that Ghost wanted to use the bomb to attack the US Navy's 6th Fleet. Rapp chases after the boat, while the 6th Fleet, having been alerted about an impending attack, prepares for the attack. Rapp and Ghost fight furiously, and Rapp is able to get the upper hand and kill Ghost. He diverts the boat away from the 6th Fleet, throws the nuclear weapon in the sea, and escapes in a helicopter sent by Irene to rescue Hurley. The device finally detonates and causes a huge hole in the sea and a massive tsunami that almost sinks the 6th Fleet. Fortunately, they all survive. After the attack, Hurley was recovering from his injuries when Irene came to see him. When Irene asks of the whereabouts of Rapp, Hurley pretends not to know, even though he knew Rapp was on vacation in Dubai. They both watch a broadcast on television, proclaiming that the Iranian faction that tried to obtain nuclear weapons would win the presidential election and would blame the nuclear attack on the CIA. Meanwhile, in Dubai, the Iranian presidential candidate enters an elevator where Rapp is already there, waiting for him. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments below, and if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.